All right, and welcome to a special championship edition of the Penning the Black podcast. We're kind of going to do this in two parts here. With me is Troy Bird. He is one of our finalists in our league this year. Troy, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Made it to championship week.
Yeah, and what a path it's been for you. I mean, sixth seed. This is actually the second year in a row we've had the sixth seed make the championship. Cullen,
Nobody's going to want the bye next year.
right? Cullen won it last year as the sixth seed. I mean, can you repeat? We'll see. But kind of do this as like an interview type deal. One of the kind of hotly contested or highly talked about things in our podcast has been one of the trades that you made with Kelton. That's the Austin Riley trade. You gave up Jose Ramirez. That was kind of the biggest piece you gave up, and got Austin Riley and Jesse Winker and Tyler O'Neill and Aaron Ashby back. We know Paul wasn't a big fan of that, but what was kind of your thought process going into that trade?
I personally don't need the highest paid guy, in my opinion. I saw that as dividing Jose Ramirez into three different pieces, and I could play the hot hand.
Yeah.
And O'Neill, I basically wanted to get. I can't remember if Kelton offered him or if I asked for him or how it went down. But I saw O'Neill as a way to replace some of the steals I was going to lose with Ramirez. And I think he's at 15, 16 something steals, somewhere in there. But anyway, he came through in that matchup against you to keep it close on steals, if not tied. I can't remember how that went down, but kind of paid off, even though he was hurt when I initially got him.
Right.
And then obviously Riley took off and probably has more home runs than Ramirez in that time frame. I can't remember. Winker hasn't done much, but
no.
Bring on base percentage to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why you did it. I mean, I'm a huge J-Ram fan, so
Ashby piece I envisioned him being somebody that I could call up and send back down when I needed spot starts, but it didn't quite work out that way because he got hurt too.
And Kelton had just gotten him from me in the Dylan Cease trade too.
Yeah, because he's one of those $4 contracts like McClanahan was for me last year when I was able to just keep rotating him back and forth from the minors. Man, I was trying to do something similar like that.
How good has McClanahan been for you? Holy cow.
You only get those 3 years with your minor leaguers, but I'm getting 5 out of him.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I got all of last year basically, and then they shut him down shortly before his innings count.
Yeah, because
I lost the playoffs. I can't remember how it went down, but I don't think he hit his limit till April this year, if I remember right.
Yeah, because it was real early in the season. Because he's technically still a prospect in our league, and I mean, yeah, you've had him. You'll have control for 5 years. That's crazy.
So if he gets like a Tommy John in there, hopefully, knock on wood, he doesn't ever get that. But if he gets one in there, I can eat that $4 for 1 year, and it won't even be a huge loss.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it too. I mean, so cheap, $4. So what? And it might be this Riley trade, but what would you say? Maybe not necessarily your best move that you made, and it could be a trade, could be a free agent acquisition. But what was your favorite move that you made?
All right. I'm gonna answer it 2 different ways. I don't know. I'm gonna say that something that worked out for me that I didn't even anticipate was I was just trying to outbid Drew somewhere along the season on Johnny Cueto.
Okay.
All I did was throw in I did not want Johnny Cueto for $2, and somehow I was the third guy I picked up because I think I outbid him $2 on 3 different pitchers and said, all right, I'm adding this guy, dropping this guy, adding this guy, dropping this guy, move down the list. Johnny Cueto was the third guy. He ended up having a great start. I kept him, started him the rest of the year, and he kind of worked out for me. Just kept getting quality starts, not getting Ks, but filling up that quality start bucket for me.
Yeah.
I guess that could be a favorite. I don't know.
No,
I mean,
yeah, Cueto has definitely
I'm
surprised me. I mean, I did not expect him to have the year that he had.
I don't know. I'm still content with the way that the Jose Ramirez thing kind of played out. I mean, I wasn't expecting Riley to have MVP type season, but it's
Right.
kind of in the discussion.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much ever since that trade, he took off. And you
I,
even mentioned that.
I wanted to find somebody that had baseball reference paid subscription to see, since I think it was June 27th is when the trade happened, see how close the numbers were in terms
Okay.
of, wanted to see if just how close they were, because I'm sure they're close, but Riley would obviously be missing some of the steals and all that, but
Right.
I,
Yeah,
I bet
I don't know.
I bet overall the numbers are close.
It'd be real interesting to see. But yeah, so did you made it a 6 seed. I know you and Kelton were kind of battling it out there for a while. Kelton kind of fell off towards the end of the season. Um, was there a point that you thought about selling?
Not really. I would never sell unless I was down in like the 9th area, maybe, I guess, until you get past like that trade deadline. I
Yeah.
mean, let's say like July 15th or something like that would be a point when I would be like, all right, I'm out of it.
Right.
If I'm like, I don't know, 20 games out of the 6th seed,
Yeah.
you can make up 20 games in 2 or 3 weeks if you're playing the right schedule.
Right. Yeah, I know. I don't know if you've talked to Mo at all, but he's in another league very very similar to ours, and he pulled off one of the greatest comebacks that I have ever seen. I don't know how many games he was out, but he had to have like the perfect last month and a half to make the playoffs, and he's in the championship in that league. So, but yeah, these types of leagues, it's real easy to make that big comeback.
See, I think as far as I dropped in this one was down to 8th, maybe, when Doug was still in the running. I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember. I think that's probably as far as I got. But my biggest thing was finding pitchers that would do anything, starting pitching wise. Because
Yeah.
Rogers was terrible. Flaherty has been non-existent for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Eloy was gone, but he's not a starting pitcher. But and then there's one other starter, Snell. No,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
he's either going to be really good or he's going to be really bad. So finally, they've all started to take off, and I've been able to rotate them. But Rogers just tore a lat or something, so he's probably done for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of amazing to see that you're in the championship. Those guys you mentioned, I mean, we can even include Jared Walsh, who, I mean, I know he's not a pitcher, but he struggled a lot this year. But all those guys you mentioned either were hurt or struggled in some sort of way. Those are what, top 5, 6 paid guys, and
Yeah, I don't know if you're in the spreadsheet. If you bring up the spreadsheet, you'll see most team probably looks similar, but I think I have $170 of active money, and then another 130 on waivers, maybe, or IL combined.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's just crazy how much you're really not using right now. I mean that really is a testament of how well you have drafted your prospects and those trades that you've made, those free agent pickups like Cueto. I mean, you've had one hell of a season with and
Orvin's been pretty good for a dollar too.
right. Just think if all those guys were healthy, active, doing well, like you expected.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you definitely wouldn't have been a 6 seed. That's for sure. Now, kind of to go off of that, last question, thinking about selling, entering the playoffs, or kind of going into the last few weeks of this regular season, did you expect to make the finals? I mean, obviously that's the goal, but did you really anticipate yourself really being in the finals?
I'm going to say probably not, but I needed a lot of things to go right. And well, Cody, I think had a bunch of injuries, so that helped the first round matchup. I mean, I don't know if you want to go through any of those, but I don't recall who was injured on his team because I didn't look that close. I just kept looking at who everybody was starting on the next day.
Yeah,
is how I was following people's teams. Then your matchup, that one I was a little bit concerned about. I know you had the early lead. I don't really buy in anything that happens on Monday or Tuesday
right.
in any of these matchups. But once we got to, I want to say, the Zach Gallen start, when he didn't hit his quality start, then I started to believe that I was going to beat you, because that's where I think things kind of turned. Because
Yeah,
I was slightly concerned when Edmund tied up steals. If you and I were to tie, I couldn't have tied either matchup with you or Cody. If I would have gone 5-5 against either one of you, I would have lost. I was trying to make sure I was going to have 6 wins no matter what happened in both of those matchups. I wasn't shooting for 5 at all. That's why I just kept starting everyone
right.
as much as I could if they had a good matchup. And then, like I said, that Saturday, I kept texting you, and I'm like, shit, every person, every time I get a notification, I'm like, all right, sweet, a home run. Nope, person's day-to-day, and it's another starter.
Right.
Now they're locked, and I can't even put in a relieving pitcher to get some Ks or something.
Yeah, that man. When you text me about Zach Gallen, he was right at five.
It was 5 1/3, and then he walked a guy or
innings,
something.
yeah. And he was over 100 pitches. He had just walked a guy, and they just took him out right after you text me too. I was so mad that I missed out on that quality start. I don't know if it overall it probably wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have either, but that was the point when I thought sure that I was going to win, like Saturday night, I think.
Yeah. Kind of looking at Cody's team, you mentioned he was dealing with all those injuries. Brandon Lau, Chris Bryant, Jorge Polanco, Jazz Chisholm, Zach Wheeler, David Bednar, all were hurt. Sean Manaea. I don't know if Manaea was hurt or if he just didn't play Manaea, because Manaea has sucked. But Verlander was hurt as well. But
I thought he got Verlander back that week.
If he did, he didn't play.
Maybe Verlander came back the week after.
Yeah, that might
I
be
don't recall.
But yeah,
I was also getting this Cody team confused with the other one, because I'm playing the same exact schedule in the playoffs in the other league.
Yeah, you aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you the matchups you've had, Cody, he was in first place for a lot of the season. You beat me. I was in first place for most of the season as well, and finished with the number 1 overall seed. Now you're going up against Mo, 4 seed. And you don't really need to get into your strategy, but it kind of seems like, especially kind of how you were doing things against me, you guys kind of have a similar strategy here.
Yeah, I would agree with you. He was not using relievers at the beginning of the year, though, so I'm not sure why he turned on the matchup with Drew, but somewhere along the way he decided he was going to buy some pitching, get some saves during the playoffs. But yeah, he and I are both kind of work the high dollar waivers and keep a 40-ish man roster going. Way we don't have to get outbid on the waivers or the free agent claims.
Yeah, I mean, we've even pointed out in some of the episodes that Mo had 0 closers and or relievers in general, and yeah, he's definitely kind of changed that. I think he's just, instead of just kind of an outsider's point of view, he's kind of looking at it as
He doesn't want to give up a free win in the playoffs. I don't think
exactly.
that's what I would.
Yeah.
That's how I would look at it. So if he just finds the hot hands in the playoffs, he'll at least have a chance at winning that category.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know if Cody's asked him why he added relievers, but
no, I don't think he did, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting kind of turn of events for Mo there, and you may have kind of hoped he would have gotten that free category win, and he kind of definitely focused on that in recent weeks. So,
yeah.
So who would you say is your MVP? And maybe Cy Young. And it may not necessarily have to be your player with your best stats. It could even be someone who you didn't really anticipate doing as well as they did, but put up some real solid numbers.
I would have to say probably, I'm going to say, and this is probably going to be like a curveball for you, but I'm going to say McClanahan's the Cy Young and Valdez would be the MVP.
Oh,
Valdez is just, you can put him down for 7 innings and Aaron runs or less almost every start.
I definitely did not anticipate Valdez there, but I mean, you're absolutely right. He's been fantastic this year. And didn't he just break? He just broke a record of some sort this week. I don't remember what it was. Quality start.
He got his 25th quality start.
Yeah.
And 24 was the previous long for somebody, I think.
Okay.
Ever since they started tracking it, probably.
Right.
I don't know when it became an official tracking number, but
yeah, 26 quality starts is definitely good candidate for MVP there. I mean, but like you said, McClanahan, he's been a Cy Young favorite most of the year. When McClanahan came down with that injury, that shoulder injury a couple weeks ago, was that something that you saw and you're like, holy crap?
Slightly, but it would only, in my opinion, lose you quality starts because you could replace the Ks easily. You might lose ERA. You could find somebody to get you the ERA down.
Sure.
Not necessarily the quality start.
Yeah.
It's the way managers manage these days. You can't rely on the quality start stat.
Right.
Which is why I think that makes Framber an MVP, in my opinion, because get somebody to consistently give those quality starts is rare.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know all of us know, but if anyone watches that doesn't know what a quality start is, that's 6 innings pitched and 3 or less earned runs. I mean, to do that consistently, and like we said, 26 times this year, and that's awesome.
He's probably at like 30 starts, so I mean, it's like over 95% of the starts.
Right. Who would you say you didn't really expect to get a lot from him, but he turned out to be a solid addition? Who would you say? And it could be like a in-season free agent acquisition. Might even be Johnny Cueto, even.
Well, Johnny Cueto is obviously one of them. But if you want to go back to somebody else, it's not even on the team anymore. John Berti, however you pronounce his name, the guy from Miami.
John Vertical.
Yeah, John Vertical. I added him just to get some steals one week, and for some reason he decided he was going to have a 400 on base percentage for the better part of a month. He got hurt.
Yeah.
And then I had to cut him just because he became a cuttable player when he came back from injury, but I think he lost playing time or something. It just wasn't working out. But for a while there, he was putting up like 5-6 steals a week, and it was winning a category for me, so he was good to have.
Yeah. So we'll kind of end it here. And I don't know how much, if at all, you want to get in on this. I was kind of looking at your salary for going into next year. You might have a little bit of wiggle room for buyouts. Is there anyone that you're considering buying out maybe?
I'm not really sure anymore. There's one guy I was looking at, but he's kind of turned it around a little bit. Changed his swing. But yeah, I was trying to buy out Walsh, but I don't think I have the salary space anymore after I added Duran
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago. But
Yeah,
I think
that was speaking of Durant, that was a great addition. I don't know how we let you get him for, what was it, $9 total? Three per
Yeah.
year.
because none of you guys have cap space besides Mo, and he didn't
That's
up the
true.
bid.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, should be a fun week to see kind of who ends up on top. Are we going to have a repeat 6 seed winner, or can Mo take the title here? It's going to be close. I think right now,
That's the early lead. But
as of this recording, looks like it's tied 4-4.
something must have happened in the day game that for the Dodgers. But last night he had 2 starts go, so he had Scherzer with his perfect 6 innings
Okay.
yesterday. So I'm not anticipating a win in case for me this week.
Yeah. Do you know offhand who has the tiebreaker?
I don't, because
looks like you guys.
I got him 6-4 in week 18 or whatever it was, and then I don't know what the early season matchup was.
Yeah, it looks like week 7 he got you 7-3.
So then he has the edge. Either way, he'd have the edge anyway if it was 6-4, because I think it goes to seed after that.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think that's gonna kind of wrap it up there. Again, gonna be a 2-part episode. Cody's gonna be interviewing Mo here in just a minute. So Troy, thanks for hopping on. Good luck the rest of the week.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Cody, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Brad. And so we're starting on the second half of the Painting the Black podcast of the championship matchup. I'm here with Muhammad Norali, the other half of the duo. Mo, how are you doing?
Good. I'm in the championship. So I got a shot.
Congratulations again on that. And
Yeah.
so first off, I want to start with what you think your biggest move of the season was. Either deal, add drop, pickup.
So
trade.
biggest move, I would say, was drafting Michael Harris. If we're just talking about this year, right?
Mhm.
Like I did not expect him to be called up this year. When he got called up, I didn't expect him to be this good this year. It's been out of nowhere. Like I was just thinking maybe next year, second half of the season, for him to be NL in the running for NL Rookie of the Year with his teammate Spencer Strider, who we'll all bid for in the offseason. Just makes no sense to me. So I'd say draft pick, I'd go with him, or just overall move, I'd go with him. Free agent ad, I would have to go with my boy Brandon Drury. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
I even remember like when I made that bid, Brad, I think it was Brad's like someone commented, I think it was Drew. It's like, how'd y'all let Mo get away with this for $1? And then Brad commented, he's like, it's Brandon Drury. Like,
yeah, people
fair.
thought it was thought it was a one-hit wonder sort of thing
Yeah.
of a guy that we knew wasn't that great.
Yeah, like a quick hot streak, and he's gonna suck the rest of the year. I mean, the
Yeah.
biggest thing with him has been he's eligible at first, second, third, and outfield. So that's the big part.
The second base part is huge because it's not very good this year. So
Yeah.
kudos to you on that move. It's a great move. Let's see. Next question. At what point did you feel like in this season that you either had a shot to make the finals or were going to be in the finals? And it could be
Yeah.
last week, it could be yesterday, it could
Yeah.
be 3 months
Look,
ago.
I'll say it this way. So I had a strategy. I just kept, as long as I had the ability to execute my strategy, I knew I had a shot. I don't know that I ever thought I'd make it to the championship, but I knew if I executed my strategy, I'd give myself a chance, which I've been able to do that so far.
I will never count you out of anything, ever. But without giving away too much, what is this strategy?
No, I can't say. I can't say.
Not even a piece?
Y'all, it's not like basketball.
Mhm.
Where in basketball I have a very specific strategy. I use the exact same strategy year after year. It's just math. This year with baseball and specifically this league, y'all, and maybe this gives it away. Y'all gave me a window to do something
Okay.
that you
Yep.
shouldn't have.
Got it.
And so that's, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, I got a shot now. Because I have something that I can do that gives me a shot. I'll leave it at that. Try to say it as vaguely as I can.
Okay. And kind of on that note, I'm going to go back to the last question I asked you. To me, the biggest move you made this year was last year trading Ozzy Albies.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
that's going to win you maybe the title this year and maybe next. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. For Julio Rodriguez. For those of y'all that don't know what Cody's referring to.
It's literally a championship move that looked stupid at the time. Like,
yeah. And so that's the thing too, right? Like I made 2 of those moves and one of them does look stupid. So I traded Freddie Freeman for Luis Robert.
Yeah.
Which,
but even half of those paying off, like
yeah.
getting a top 20 player for $10 for 4 years.
Yeah, it's what
that skews it. Yeah.
It skews it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, yeah, that those 2 guys, the 2 rookie of the year front runners, and even like thinking back to my matchup with Drew a couple weeks ago, those 2 guys within a span of 30 minutes in the same game against each other hit 4 home runs. Or no, I'm sorry, not within a span, because Julio hit 1 to start the game. So within a span of 3 hours, and then in 30 minutes they hit 3. So Harris hit 1, Harris hit 2, and then Julio finally responded with 1. So Julio started the game with 1. Harris
with a
hit
game
2
tire.
from like, I think it was like the 7th and the 9th, maybe 6th and the 8th.
And 9th.
Yeah, I think
8th and 9th.
Yeah, and then Harris hit 1 in the 8th and the 9th.
8th and 9th.
And then Julio hit 1 in the 9th. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that was insane. Like I was literally, you may get this reference. You remember Kevin Durant's first ever walk-off game winner against the Hawks, where he like hits it? I think it's over Al Horford, I want to say. I'm trying to picture it in my head. Top of the key, hits it, and he like walks off.
It was the year before they went to the finals, right? Yeah.
No, this is like Seattle. This is his rookie year.
Oh, okay. No,
I can't remember the jersey. He has a Seattle jersey on. He runs to the middle of the court. He's like pounding his chest. So
yeah.
When Julio, and they show it all the time. So when Julio hit that home run to tie it, I was literally in my kitchen doing the KD. Like I was just pounding my wife's just like looking at me like, what's going on? So I had to like explain to her. I was like, I just pulled off one of the craziest things.
Like, I know I'm a fan, but game of the year, definitely. So yeah, like to me, huge monumental move. Like might as well shut it down next couple of years.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
All right. So on the flip side of that last question, was there any point in the year that you wrote your team off or
Yeah.
thought
Yes.
about either selling or standing pat?
So never selling, but I'll say 3 times. So one you're familiar with. The first time you and I played. So obviously I've told you since the offseason, I thought you had the best team in the league. So that first
I
match
just
we had, I was using that as a barometer.
Mhm.
And then through Friday, I was there. Like I had it. It like we were. I think I might have been up going into Saturday. Then you had that Warriors like run on Saturday.
Yep.
And you like the final score was not even close. I think you beat me like
Yeah.
7-3 or something, right? And I was like, I don't know if the strategy's
Alright.
gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Like this may not be the year. I'm not sure if I have, or I don't know if I have the firepower to keep up with your team, right?
Mhm.
Because you're just, it's like 2015, 2016 Warriors when you go on that run, like it's over like that. And so I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Then, obviously the Tatis thing when he gets suspended for the year, I'm like, I was waiting for him obviously to come back. I'm like, all right, it's just not my year. And then the last one, so that was another time where I thought, all right, it's just not my year.
Mhm.
And then the third one, similar to your matchup, but this was later in the year where I had some of my guys back. I made the Simeon trade. Harris is up now. He's doing great, right?
Mhm.
My team was rolling a little bit at this point. I think I was on a win streak, and I'm playing Cullen, and he beat
Mhm.
me earlier in the year. And obviously, he's the reigning champ, so another barometer week. So I'm playing him the second time now, killing him all week. He comes back. It's 5-5, we tie. And I'm like, all right, now I don't have the tiebreaker against Cullen. It looks
Mhm.
like I'm likely going to play him in the playoffs. And so
And
now I
it's
have
a
to actually beat him 6-4 to
Mhm.
get past him.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know if like just looking at our two teams, I don't know if I have 6 categories against him.
Sure. And like, could you even? Yeah,
Yeah.
you had the week of your life or whatever, and I
Yes.
get that. That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I had as good as I could do, and I was like, I still can't beat him. Um, so that was annoying for sure. But the reason I never thought to sell, and the thing that probably helped me the most was the other team sold. And so like those last I told Doug this, I think, a couple weeks ago. Those last call it like 5 weeks of the season. Well, not your week. Your week I used as a playoff week, that last week of the regular season. But like
As
the
I
4
was
weeks
done.
before that, um, like I think I lost every single one of those weeks where I tied one and lost the rest. Like I wasn't even trying to win because I was like, I already know I'm gonna be the 4 or 5 seed, doesn't matter. I knew I
Sure.
was gonna drop to 6. I knew I wasn't gonna get up to 3. Um,
You were in it, but yeah, it's not like home court matters
yeah,
or home field
exactly,
or
right?
yeah.
So what I was doing those last 4 weeks, I told Doug this, I was testing to see, and I'll give this part of the strategy away, because it did me no good. But I wanted to make sure I could prove it, right? What
Mhm.
I was testing those last 4 weeks was how well can I predict pitching outcomes. So I was like, all right, someone's pitching against the Dodgers, I should definitely bench them. Or
Okay.
someone starting against the Astro, or someone starting against the Rangers, I should definitely start them. Um,
Mhm.
so I was trying to play the matchups and then trying to like win Ks by like 3 Ks instead of I was like I get nothing out of winning Ks by 20, right?
Mhm.
Like is there a way I can start the minimum number only really great matchups, only win Ks by 20 or only win Ks by 3 rather than win it by 20. So I tried that and the conclusion was I can't. Like I can't predict it one. I can't plan to win it by 3 because if you
Mhm.
plan to win it by 3, you're gonna lose by 4. Something's gonna happen along the way, right? Some
Mhm.
variable's gonna go. Some guy's gonna pitch 3 innings, get a sore arm, get pulled. Like you can't do it. So that I was experimenting those last 4
Sure.
weeks to see, and
Sure.
because I wasn't in a playoff chase, so all you guys that sold and didn't try to make a run, you
True.
guys actually helped me because I didn't have to. I didn't have to chase a playoff spot at the end. Whereas usually, if you're the 5-4,
Yeah.
there's people on your tail. You don't have time to mess around like that. So me having that time to mess around and kind of figure out what I could do, kind of like we talk about the SGITR. Like I figured out
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
the
yeah,
smartest guy in the room, right? Like I
Or
can't
like,
I can't figure this out.
yeah, you're testing your own gut, or however you want
Yeah.
to say it. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that
Uh, not to
that
give
was
away my strategy. I never hold starts or anything. Full
yeah,
send.
yeah. That's where I landed. Is
Mhm.
that's the right way to do it. Unless it's obvious. I mean, on a Sunday, right? We're up.
Sure. All right. So next topic. You can pick out your either like your biggest unsung hero or kind of like gritty guy. We all have our favorite on our teams. Like for the Mariners, mine is like Sam Haggerty or that kind of thing. So who's your unsung hero batter and pitcher?
Oh, so that
So
I would say that's really Drury for me. I would say.
sure.
And since I already used Drury, I'll say Simeon. So I made a trade. So you kind of flip those two questions, right? So let's call Simeon the
Mhm.
biggest move, and let's call. So I'll talk about
Okay.
Simeon a little bit. When I got him from Kelton, so when Kelton decided to sell, right?
Mhm.
He made a trade with Cullen, I think, and I was like, oh man, he's selling. Like I woke up that day, he had made a trade with Cullen. I was like, oh man, I gotta go grab somebody from him. He's selling. I gotta get somebody. I can't. I think this was before the Tatis news, actually. But I needed a shortstop because O'Neal Cruz at this time was doing terrible. I was like, I just
Yeah.
gotta send him down. He's not ready. Maybe next year. Um, so obviously Semien in real life plays second base, but he's eligible at second and short. And
Mhm.
then the other thing I noticed was he didn't sit out one game last year.
Nope.
And I was like, that's huge for me. With all these other guys in a lineup, gotta get Semien. And then the thing is with that dual eligibility, if O'Neal Cruz is ever playing a lefty, I can shift lefty on
Okay.
lefty. He sucks, right? Well,
Mhm.
until recently, he's been doing pretty good recently. Um, I shift Semi into short and then put Drury at
Okay.
second. And then when Drury
Okay.
just got hurt with his concussion, so he was out my entire matchup against Cullen. I was able to shift Semien back up to second, and O'Neal Cruz obviously had a great week this last week. So just that, again,
Yeah.
just that position eligibility was huge. And then pitcher for me was Lance McCullers. So you asked earlier about like the deadline, making moves.
Mhm.
Like I didn't have to make a move because I had him coming back, and with him coming, he was exactly what I'm paying him to do, right? Like he's a top 25 pitcher. He had a start last week where he got, I think, over 10 Ks. So he's been exactly what I needed. Just that steady. He's gonna get you a quality start, high Ks. The whip is a little higher than you'd like it to be, but he hasn't had that blow up game yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't have it this week. But he's been huge. He's been exactly what I needed him to be.
Yeah, that's one where patience definitely
Yeah.
you're able to pay off.
Yeah, and another one, right, where
Yeah.
if I was chasing a playoff spot, I might have had to get rid of him sooner, but I was able to hang on to him
Mhm.
and be patient, like you said.
Okay, so going into the final week, what are you, without giving away too much, because we know you're pretty guarded and close to the vest on your strategies, what are you looking forward to this week besides like winning, or
Yeah.
what matchups are you looking for? What?
So nothing really like that. I so the weird thing that happened, I don't know if you saw, or I might have texted you earlier. I actually had 6 starters today.
Mhm.
So yeah, without giving away too much, the nice thing about that is you get information, right? You get
Mhm.
information early in the matchup, which then kind of
Because you'll
guides
have
you on how
all
to.
those guys will start again. So yes, you have to figure that out again here in a minute.
Yeah, so that's a nice part of it is so like if all of them had completely sucked today, I would have been like, all
Mhm.
right, I'm punting ERA and whip. I'm just gonna go after quality starts Ks. But they did okay. I mean, Tyler Wells was terrible. But Max Scherzer balanced it out with his perfect 6 innings.
Yeah.
So it I didn't really get that much information from it, but it at least it tells me I still have a chance in Ks or sorry in WHIP and ERA. So that's the great. Obviously, like you said, the obvious part of it is that you get the 2 starts, so
Mhm.
that's huge. The other thing I'm looking for is so if you look at my stats, the last 3 weeks I've pretty much had. So your matchups last week of the regular season, Drew and then Cullen. If you look at my offensive stats, it's and the 3 that are predictable or not even predictable, right? But the 3 big ones of runs, home runs, RBIs. It's
Mhm.
been almost exactly the same each of those weeks. And I have no secret sauce on that. Like it just has been. But
That's
the thing
crazy.
I've noticed is my guys are almost like taking turns being hot.
Mhm.
And so the guy that to me it seems like needs to get hot this week for me to win is Michael. Like it seems like it's Michael Harris's turn because he had that little stretch that we talked about that Sunday,
Mhm.
2 Sundays ago, or was it last? It wasn't like today's what Monday.
It was
Yeah,
about
this
9 days
Sunday.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so it's been 9 days,
Mhm.
and so I think towards the end of this week, he's supposed to get hot again. If he does, I feel good. If he doesn't, like I'm not. And then same with Julio, right? I think it's going to come down to those 2 guys. If he doesn't
Yeah.
play, if Julio doesn't play, like I'm not winning this matchup. Like I don't. Like I've been able to pull it off all year without Tatis. Been able to pull it off all year without all these other guys. Luis Robert is trash right now. His wrist is like broken or something. I'm not sure what's going on.
He's broken. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've gotten through all these obstacles. I can't overcome Julio Rodriguez not playing. If he doesn't play, I'm not winning.
So I'm gonna ad lib and add a question in here. But looking at Troy's team, who are you most concerned about
Austin
overcoming?
Riley. Austin
Austin
Riley.
Riley.
Yeah, so he had a home run already today, and
Mhm.
anyone that's followed any of Austin Riley's career, one of the streakiest players ever. So he's either really down or really up. It seems like
Mhm.
he's about to be really up this week. So if he gets hot, and then I think both of their matchups, the Braves, they're playing some bad teams. And I think
Mhm.
Riley seems to feast on bad teams too. So
Yes, he does.
I think and then obviously Austin Riley was involved in the most talked about trade of this season, right? With
I've
the Jose
I've been
Ramirez
telling
trade.
I've been telling you guys like
Yeah,
you're
no, I
sleeping on
defended
Troy.
it. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
thought it was the right trade as well. Well, I understood Troy's train of
Yeah.
thought on that trade. I always did. It's paid off for him.
So last question. Oh, hello. As we head towards the off season, what are you looking forward to in that respect? Without,
Yeah, Fernando
uh,
Tatis coming back. Like,
yeah,
I just want him back, man.
that's like you said that. I forgot that he was even on your team.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's
Highest paid player, #1 pick.
yeah.
Here,
Number
here
one
you are.
pick. Yeah, no, I haven't had him all year. It's a miracle I'm even here this far without him. So if I can just get him
Yeah,
back, healthy Julio,
yeah.
healthy Michael Harris, I'll take my
You got
chances.
you draft as always insanely well. You got hot at the right time. You have a well balanced team. I'm not surprised about this at all.
No, I appreciate it. See how it goes.
Uh, and like if I couldn't be in it, you and Troy are the two I'm backing. So good
Cool,
luck to
man.
both of you. Thanks for being on.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Yeah.